choose our socks for success in all endeavors. Fortunes rises from the heel, and good luck for life.
Good morning. Today is Monday, December 2nd, 2024. Today in history, on this day 95 years ago, Chinese archaeologist Pei Wenzhong unearthed the first complete skull fossil in the Longgu Mountain Cave at Zhoukoudian, shocking the international academic community. This site, the richest of its kind in China, has yielded the most ancient human remains and relics in the world, providing valuable insights into the physical characteristics, labor, and living conditions of ancient Beijing people. Welcome to today's Qingchao Morning News. Let's start with political updates.
Three suspects in Israeli rabbi murder arrested in UAE. According to reports from agents France Presse and Reuters, on November 24, the UAE Ministry of Interior announced the arrest of three suspects involved in the murder of Israeli Rabbi Kogan with record speed. The statement did not provide details about the suspects or whether they had been charged, but emphasized the ministry's commitment to using all legal powers to respond decisively to any actions threatening social stability. Kogan, 28, who also held Moldovan nationality, worked for an Orthodox Jewish organization called Hubbard in the UAE. The title, rabbi, is given to qualified religious teachers in Jewish law. Kogan had previously disappeared in Dubai. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs issued a joint statement condemning the murder as a heinous act of anti-Semitic terrorism and vowed to ensure justice. Ex-Philippine President Duterte urges military to correct government's divisive rule. According to comprehensive reports from Manila, recently, Philippine Vice President Sara Duterte issued an assassination threat against President Marcos Jr., while her father, former President Duterte, also publicly criticized Marcos Jr. He urged the military to uphold the constitution and correct the so-called divided governance situation. Duterte questioned how long the military would continue to support a drug-addicted president. However, he stopped short of calling for a military government, suggesting instead that the military could simply withdraw from the government. Duterte had previously called Marcos Jr. a drug addict in a speech in January and even raised the possibility of removing him. In response, Marcos Jr. criticized Duterte's judgment, suggesting it was influenced by fentanyl. North Korea cuts power lines to South Korea's transmission towers. According to Yonhap news agency, the South Korean military recently discovered that North Korea had cut off power lines from a transmission tower near the Gyeongui Line highway. The South Korean military believes this is part of a broader operation to dismantle transmission towers. There are 48 transmission towers along the Gyeongui Line highway from Munsanyeop, Paju, South Korea, to the Pyongyang substation in Kaesong, North Korea, with 15 on the North Korean side. The transmission equipment, installed by Korea Electric Power Corporation, was connected in December 2006 to supply power to the Kaesong Industrial Complex. After North Korea's nuclear test in January 2016, South Korea cut off the power supply. As relations improved, South Korea partially restored it. However, after North Korea destroyed the South Korea-North Korea Liaison Office in June 2020, South Korea severed the supply again, and it remains cut off. U.S. federal debt exceeds $35 trillion. According to Xinhua news agency, the latest data from the U.S. Treasury Department shows that the total debt of the U.S. federal government has reached a record high of $36.035 trillion. In recent years, the U.S. federal debt has expanded rapidly. In September 2023, it surpassed the $33 trillion mark. From early January to the end of July this year, the debt increased from $34 trillion to $35 trillion. In just over 3 months, the federal debt rose by another $1 trillion. McGinnis, chairman of the U.S. Federal Budget Accountability Committee, stated that the growing federal debt presents serious domestic economic and geopolitical risks, stalling U.S. economic growth, driving up inflation and interest rates, and further tightening the federal budget. Hello Kitty stock sees biggest drop in 10 years. According to Bloomberg News, Sanrio, the parent company of the Hello Kitty brand, recently saw its stock price drop by 17%, marking the largest decline since May 2014. This decline follows the company's announcement that some shareholders, including the president, will sell shares through the open market. Sanrio's stock had doubled in value since the beginning of the year, driven by the success of its cartoon characters and the growth of inbound tourism to Japan. A well-known economist noted that while the share sale was expected, investors were unprepared. The stock's high valuation made it vulnerable to the impact of the share release, and the economist urged caution for investors. Thailand sends 963 smuggled lemurs and tortoises back to Madagascar. According to Agence France-Presse, on November 27, Thailand's Minister of Natural Resources and Environment announced that authorities would repatriate 963 smuggled animals, including ring-tailed lemurs, brown lemurs, spider tortoises, and radiated tortoises. These species are endemic to Madagascar and are endangered under the Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species of Wild Fauna and Flora. Madagascar's Environment Minister Fontaine stated that the animals would be sent to a special conservation center upon their return to Madagascar. Thailand is a major transit point for wildlife smugglers, with rare and endangered animals often trafficked to black markets in countries such as China and Vietnam for significant profits. This operation is Thailand's largest ever crackdown on wildlife trafficking. Japan develops new heat storage material. Japanese researchers have developed a new heat storage material by mimicking the crowded environment of macromolecules in living organisms' cytoplasm, with water as the main component. The heat-sensitive polymer gel achieves a heat storage density of up to 562 kilojoules per liter at temperatures below 60 degrees Celsius. Using synthesis reaction control technology from Tokyo University of Science, the team achieved gel homogenization, and large-scale production maintained the same heat storage density. This new material stores low-temperature heat at more than double the density of existing materials, offering potential for recycling low-temperature waste heat and supporting energy conservation and decarbonization.
According to Kalian Press, the Russian ruble's exchange rate against the US dollar recently dropped by over 8.5%, falling below 110 rubles per US dollar. That's all for today's Qingchao Morning News. Thanks for watching. Join us at the same time tomorrow.